Hi, this is Katie Weeks, your independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. And today I'm joining the Inspiration Collaboration Design team, sharing an investment product that's in our new catalog. I have chosen the Party Alphabet dies. These dies are huge. They measure about 2¼ inches each when you cut them out and use them on your project. Some of the dies are even a little bit larger than that. So I am going to cut out the word eats in both strawberry slush and in black cardstock. And I'm doing that so I can layer the two letters together. And I'm cutting out the word eats here. And I also cut out a little banner from Stylish Shapes Dies. Those are also still available on my website. And when I am trying to get some of them to drop out of my die, you probably noticed I just dropped it on my work surface, and that really helps them come out. Sometimes I will use a pokey tool as well. But these stylish shape dies have some nice banners in them, and so the word eats is only part of what my title. I'm going to be bringing in Documenting the Day stamp set and stamping off the word wonderful. I am stamping that in Memento Tuxedo Black ink, and before I stamp it on my actual little banner, I want to make sure it's stamping off nice and that my ink pad is juicy enough and I'm getting it inked up really well. So I do a couple practice stamp offs just before I actually do it on my project. So I want the banner to stick out from behind one of my mats for photos, and I want it to say wonderful eats. So we're getting ready to go on a vacation, and I'm just doing some scrapbook pages ahead of time that I've already done the layouts here, and I use the paper pack and the DSP and sticker sheets from Celebratory Sips, and I've really enjoyed working with that pack this last week, and I got a bunch of layouts. I think I did 7 layouts, a couple of tags, 3 cards. I got so many things out of it, and a bunch of little bags for the notes and totes. Those little beach bags, you'll see one at the end of the video. Those are so cute too. So here you can see I am offsetting it just slightly. I'm bringing it down and to the right. When I put that strawberry slush on top of the black cardstock, I glued those layers together and just made it go kind of diagonal down my page. So here's the first one that I have put the title on. What a fun, just easy technique, just layering them up. The next one, I took some of the DSP and put a strip down on my basic white, and that DSP will show up at the bottom part of my letters. And so here you see, I'm just dropping it, trying to get some of those dies out. If they get a little stubborn and you can't get it out, just get one of your pokey tools. I think I even pull in my scissors sometimes, and they fit in those little holes and push out the letters that you have die cut. But I really like how these letters look, but my background of my paper is really busy. So I'm going to show you how I make these letters stand out even more on my scrapbook layout. So I'm going to take a sponge dauber and my strawberry slush ink, and I'm just going to go around all of the edges of the letters, even on the inside of the letters, like the inside of the O. And I'm just working on a little acrylic block that I have. You could do this on your glass mat as well, but I'm just going around the edges of all of the letters. And so this particular layout is going to say Sip Sip Hooray. And so you can see the hooray I did with a different DSP. I wanted to make sure that it would stand up and stand out from that busy floral background that I've got going on. Now the Y was just a little bit more tricky, so I picked it up and just kind of bent back the one part of the Y and got in there so that I could get in that little V, and then I turned it around and did the other side and just kind of got inside there. That was the best way I could get into those very sharp angles inside a letter as well. You could also do that anytime you're doing a letter like a V, a W, an M, a Y. That's just a really good way to get in there. Now the word hooray is a little bit longer, and I do have room for the word, but I wanted to show you another way that you can work with these big letters on a title for a layout. I'm going to overlap them just a little, and I've also seen titles where they were overlapped even more than what I'm going to do here, but it still looks really fun. But if you need to have a little bit more letters than you think you're going to fit on there, don't worry, you can still do it. You just need to overlap them slightly. Now, when I used this DSP, it made it so that you had to be pretty precise in how you put the letters down because it would really show how even they are. But I just overlapped the letters slightly. The A and the Y doesn't overlap much just because of the angles at which they are cut. But once I start working with the other letters, you will see even more overlap that I do with each of them. And so I just put probably, I would say, 1/8 of an inch overlap for each letter. And then you want to make sure that line stays really nice and straight when you are putting down the letters, because as you put the next letter down, it needs to stay consistent all the way through. So I'm putting down the word hooray. And then as I get ready to switch back to the left-hand page where I have sip, sip, I'm going to do something fun with each of these. I'm going to make these letters appear on the layout so that they're tilting back and forth. So I didn't worry about lining them up like I did the letters on the other page. So I just kind of make them go back and forth. And I did the same thing for the other letters for the first sip, only the first sip will go up and down between two of my photo spots that I'm going to put down on the page. Now the letters I am covering with a lot of mini dimensionals on the back. However, I do not want to peel up the backing to those mini dimensionals unless it's on a spot that will not have a photo underneath. So the gutter that goes between those two photo mats will be where I want the adhesive removed for the mini dimensionals. So as I'm going through here, I'm taking off some, but I'm not taking off all of the backings to that, to the mini dimensionals. So I'm going to put this up on the page, and then I'll give you a better look at the whole page together. And here's a look at those two pages together. Isn't that a lot of fun? Okay. Now we have one more technique that I want to cover, and I am bringing in the Glass and Gardens embossing folders. And there are 2 embossing folders in there. I am only using the one that has a floral print on it. And I am going through, and I had already cut out the word French and then QTR for quarter. And then after I cut out those party alphabet dies in the Secret C, I ran them through with my embossing folder. But before I ran through each set of letters, I took my little water bottle and gave a very fine light mist to the letters, and then I put them in the embossing folder and I ran it through with the letters being misted. And the reason I do that is it helps stretch the fibers of that cardstock so that it does not crack. This is the two-toned white core cardstock, and it can crack as it's being stretched going through an embossing folder, and that misting will allow the fibers to stretch, and it keeps it from cracking So that's what I did. And you can see how beautifully they all came out without any of that white core showing through. And then I'm just going to arrange the letters on my pages. And when I go to adhere them down, I usually like to work from the middle out to the outsides. That way I can get them somewhat centered. Okay, let's take a look at what we have done. Using this party alphabet die set, we have created titles for several different layouts. So this one, we stamped on one of the stylish shapes dies using the documenting the day stamp. And then I have cut this out in black cardstock and in strawberry slush, and I staggered them just a little bit, and it says Wonderful Eats. We are headed to New Orleans, so I have kind of started making layouts for what I anticipate that I'm going to do for some of our adventures. For this one, I covered it in half of the DSP. So you'll see the letters have half or just a little left. Maybe I should say like a third of the letter is covered in DSP. And then I cut it out in the basic white, and then I sponged around the edges using strawberry slush. And then I popped this up, but the pop dots or the many dimensionals that are underneath do not have this adhesive backing removed, so I can still slide my pictures in. And then I have Sip Sip Hooray, and I want to point out I talked about this on an earlier video this week, and I used packing tape over the DSP, and then I die cut out the glasses, and then I ran them through embossing folders. So I thought that was kind of fun. So Sip Sip Hooray is the next layout. You could do full letters in DSP as well, which would be a fun technique. And for this one, I used the Glass and Gardens embossing folder, and it had like a beautiful design with roses like this on the embossing folder. And so I want to do pictures of the French Quarter, and if you've ever been down near the French Quarter and even up like on the terraces, you'll notice these beautiful baskets that have flowers and things like that. So I thought this would be a fun one to do for the French Quarter. And I wanted to point out that I embossed here. You could also stamp if you did it on a light color cardstock, and you could stamp, or you could stamp and emboss. Those are a couple more ideas. Another fun idea that what you could do is you could cut it out of this. You could cut the letters out of this and then have paper behind it, or even lift it up and make it into a shaker element. So those are some more ideas for that. So these party alphabet dies are available in a bundle, and that is with the party banners dies. And here's the banners, and you can see that several of these letters could fit. These letters could fit on several of those banners. So if you wanted to make a banner on your scrapbook page, or like a real life banner to hang at a party, this is a bundle that's available, and you can save money if you order them together. So I wanted to point out a few things that I have made with the party banners dies. I made an embellishment in the middle of this page, and I also made an embellishment here that would be, it could also be a tag, and you could hang something with the handle of the Notes and Totes bag that I cut out. So, and this embossing folder again is in the Glass and Gardens embossing folder. So, and I did a little bit of ruching down here with ribbon. So that's just another layout. I think a lot of the embellishments for these layouts will be more inspired once I have pictures on them. I hope you've enjoyed how I featured today the party alphabet dies and have some ideas also what you could do with those party banner dies. So these two together, I believe, are $125 as the bundled price. And I'll also point out that the best way to get this is if you sign up to be a demonstrator, because then you can get both of these for $99, and that would be an awesome deal. And I ordered them as a bundle, and I think you would really be able to use these for years and years to come. They are great investment pieces. Hop on over to Katie, K-A-T-I, Weeks, W-E-A-K-S, .stampinup.net and see what I have in store for you. Make sure you check out the videos of the other girls in the Inspiration Collaboration Design team. And I've left a link to the playlist below, and I've also left their links in the description. Like, comment, share, and subscribe for more crafty inspiration.